Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever R&D podcast named Still to Be Determined. But I am Drew, your co-host, and let my co-host introduce himself here.
And I'm your co-host, Ryan.
Perfect. So yeah, this podcast, we're just gonna be here and talk about very original, just two white guys with two mics and talking about video games. So
Is that what we're doing?
yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Are we doing something? Is this a secret intervention or something? I don't see a banner anywhere,
Yeah,
so
we need to talk about some things, and all of them have to do with video games. So let's get into
your
it.
perpetual video game addiction.
Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start?
Well, I know you had put together a list of some things that we could
Yeah,
talk about. I
yeah.
think
I don't
you want
know.
to talk with Ghost of Tsushima. This is something that's been,
Yeah.
game that you've been fond of for a few years. So I'll let you
Oh
sort of
yeah.
like kick it off. But I only just got around to playing it. So
Oh well, I've loved this game for a long time, and I'm really glad that you um have played it. I don't have a ton of people I know that have played it. Um,
really, I
so
feel like it's so
it
popular.
is, but like a lot of my friends don't have PlayStations. I think maybe
It's
like
on PC. I think you can play it on Steam
I
Deck.
know, but like I have friends who like one of my friends. I'm just gonna name drop people. I don't care. Well,
Yeah, go
Chad,
ahead.
Chad doesn't. Chad only buys one game a year, so I'd have to buy it for him, and there's a strong
Broke
chance he
ass.
right. Yeah, what a
No, I
what a
got a bunch of
loser.
friends like that. Honestly, this
Um,
is a strange. I mean, now we're going on a complete detour, but I feel like that's like a recent years thing where
mhm.
so many people are playing free to play games, or they just get around. I'm gonna play my Fortnites, I'm gonna play my Call of Duty Warzone, and they'll go years without buying a game. I mean, I got friends that
Yeah.
just refuse to do it,
hmm
but yeah,
Yeah. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I can't buy as many games as I used to, necessarily because I won't play them. But I do have a plan to try to go through like my unplayed games or games I haven't finished kind of thing. But Ghost of Tsushima, yes. I've loved this game ever since it came out. I was debating at when it came out, it was between getting Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2, and I flipped a coin and I ended up getting both of them. Um,
well,
so
those are so it's interesting because those are very like definitive PlayStation
they
releases,
are,
but they
yeah.
came out
I beat
so close to the PS5 at the very end of that PS4 era.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was like right at the start of COVID and everything. So had a lot
Yeah.
of time on my hands to play through both of them. And but
hmm
Ghost of Tsushima, I was kind of on the fence about it. Because I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like, but I do like the Infamous games, so let's give it a shot. And at first I sucked, and I was just like, oh no, like I was terrible at it. Like I was like, oh, is this
Well, I think
combat
I
gonna be?
texted you when I was playing, and I told you I was like, this game's hard, and you're like,
And I
nah,
didn't
just
even
wait.
I didn't even play it on lethal at first, so
Yeah.
but then like I mean the opening itself already kind of like pulled me in enough. I was like, okay, this is pretty sick. And I love the world, like I love how they handled the UI elements on keeping it really minimal and having like the wind guide you to your next objective. Like I don't have to
hmm
have like a bunch of like things on the screen telling me where to go or trying to grab my entrance. It's just the world. And I feel like I haven't had that in a video game in a long time where I just could really just enjoy the world and the combat. Like I love that combat because like it's not overly complicated. And I feel like it ramps itself up pretty reasonably.
hmm
Um, and so it doesn't feel like a lot's being thrown at you at once and you have like too many options to go to from the beginning. I feel like the way it scales is pretty reasonable. So by the time that you are scaling up to get new abilities, I feel like I have the like mental capacity to like remember them and
Yeah, it doesn't overwhelm you up
mhm,
front and sort of
yeah.
like eases you into all the different
Yeah,
mechanics. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
So I think it did a really good job about that. And then once you get the hang of the combat, you feel like an absolute badass. Like it's so satisfying and it felt
Yeah.
real enough. I didn't feel like I was fighting like a bunch of damaged sponges and stuff like that. And like everything it had weight to it, or it
Hmm.
has weight to it, and stuff. And I've been replaying it. This is my third playthrough.
Oh,
Um,
so you're playing it right now. I didn't realize
yeah,
that.
yeah, I am playing it
Okay.
right now. I very slowly over time I've been playing it.
Hmm.
I'll like hop in.
Have you platinumed it? Have you
Yeah,
done
yeah, I
everything?
platinum
Okay.
it. I platinum
Yeah.
Iki Island. I
Did you
think
do the Legends stuff?
I did some of the legend stuff, not
Okay.
all of it. It crashed. I have a bad habit on when a game crashes on me. I'm like, okay, I'm never playing this again for some reason. I don't even. It's not even that I'm thinking that. It's just like that happened with Journey. Like I was playing, I was like, this is great, and then it crashed on me, and I was like, oh well, okay, and then I just never touched it again.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of cat hair on my
Well,
mic.
I wanted to jump back really quick
Yep.
to something you said about the just like the weather and the nature
Mm-hmm.
aspect of the game. I feel like that was the most unique and sort of selling point of the
Mm-hmm.
game for me, right? Like there are almost moments where like it has like a realistic art style, right? But there are moments with the way that the landscape is sort of depicted and things where there you have these there's like a really strong contrast, right, between these bright colorful leaves and dark shadows, like dark inky shadows, and it almost emulates like a Japanese painting to
Mm-hmm.
some degree. So I really do think that was what was most memorable about the entire experience. And then you mentioned the wind mechanic, which I think is such a nice, subtle user experience way of handling like a classic open world GPS, right? Like
Yeah.
it's very unique. Um, and it plays into sort of that like
Mm-hmm.
natural beauty of the rest of the game because it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't overburden you with like UI elements
Yeah.
and it's very simplistic. And again, it pairs nicely like with even a lot of like the typography and
Mm-hmm.
graphic design throughout the game. It's all very simplistic,
Mm-hmm.
simple, and presents you like it's all like trying to put a focus on the landscape.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
it's pretty immersive, and
Hmm.
like the UI goes away when you don't need it. And and like it's the UI I think is really well designed, because when it's there I don't feel like I'm looking at too much on the screen.
Hmm.
Now there are some games where it's totally fine to have that, because eventually you get used to it and you figure stuff out. But
Yeah.
I guess for me now, knowing it, like most of the time I'm not gonna be able to like play a game every single day. So having a game where the barrier for entry is pretty low upon the start, then it's gonna grab me so much more. And I feel like I mean
Hmm.
at the time I definitely had the time for Ghost of Tsushima 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I think the game holds up really well nowadays. The only kind of like minor complaint I had was like sometimes the world can feel a little empty. Like there's a lot to do.
Hmm.
It's a little repetitive sometimes, but that's just gonna happen with a first game in a series, no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, so I would have liked a little bit more um stuff in the world to do, but that also might just because I loved it so much that I would find
Hmm.
time to enjoy.
Well, you didn't
Um,
want to follow the 90th fox to its
I
little
think there's like
shrine?
I'm pretty sure there's like yeah, I think there's around 90 of them. Because I
Oh,
think
really? That was a total guess. I don't know.
I can't remember how many, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
Hmm.
Maybe there's only like 49. But that's still a lot. But yeah, the foxes, it was great. Just happening upon one of those Inari shrines out in the world
Hmm.
without having to follow the foxes. Oh, that was fantastic. Also,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't let you pet the fox, which is
Yeah, what
bullshit.
was that? I noticed that as well. I
So
wasn't
I
sure
don't
if that
know.
was
It
like a
was
glitch or what.
I think it is. I think it has something to do with like where whatever the terrain is, the fox sometimes just like glitches away because there's not a
Uh,
good spot for you to stop and pet it.
yeah.
Um
Yeah, they're not treated. I noticed like if you use your I don't want to call it eagle vision because I'm pretty sure that's what's in Assassin's Creed, but
yeah,
like
it is.
the
Well,
listening mechanic, the
mhm.
like most other like animals and people show up. I noticed the fox does not. I think they're scripted as like a sort of different it's not like an NPC, it's like some on rails thing, it just sort
Mhm.
of runs to where it needs to go, but
Yeah, yeah.
so we've talked about a little bit about like the open world activities, which are a bit repetitive, I suppose. I did enjoy like the other shrines where you would climb, do a pretty like lengthy
Mhm.
climbing sequence.
Yeah, yeah,
Because some
yeah.
of them were actually pretty like I know a lot of people complain about games making it very like way too obvious where you need to navigate with like yellow paint on like windows and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
or like white. bandages hanging down, like, oh, you got to climb
Hmm.
this ledge. I think Uncharted is like
Yeah,
notorious for that in the
Uncharted
past,
has
and
it. I think
yeah,
Horizon Zero Dawn kind of does it, but you
yeah.
I think it also utilizes like the focus thing to help with
Hmm.
that. So that's nice. I like when there's in-world explanation for me. Yeah, Uncharted is pretty bad about that.
Yeah, but in this game, like especially on the shrine sections, I felt like they blended those with the terrain
Hmm.
pretty
Yeah.
well. I mean, there are a few obvious, like, hey, this is the route to get up this cliff. Because, like,
Yeah.
but honestly, I'd rather that instead of me spending like, 30 minutes going
Hmm.
around a mountain where it's, I can't find the way up. So,
Yeah. And like there and usually most of those shrines have like this moment where you're kind of up on the mountain and there's just this
hmm.
they just give you this view and it's so cool. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
not in they handled it in terms of the landscape because it's not like realistic necessarily. It's very
Well, that's what
much
I
an
was saying. It's
artistic.
it's a balance.
Yeah.
Like it is like the landscape itself looks almost, picturesque or like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
paintedly.
Painterly, yeah.
Um but the depiction of like the violence and the story is almost
Mm-hmm.
more like film
Yeah, yeah,
like.
like
So it's a balance. It's a
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
mix. Yeah.
Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Kurosawa style. Like I mean a lot of
Hmm.
inspiration there for sure. And you can
Yeah.
very much tell that this is a very cinematic feeling Japan or Tsushima
Hmm.
Island. Um yeah, and just having those views, it was like I don't mind this at all. This is amazing. And I would utilize I don't use photo modes in games most often.
Yeah. I was in
Um
photo mode all the time on this game.
yeah, it was so much fun
Yeah.
to use. So um
Um
you
I
meant
did want to
oh go ahead.
say, yeah, I just want to say, like, on the topic of, like, we've talked about a little bit about the activities, we've talked about the landscape and the beauty, but did we ever, like, I guess the thing to sort of pivot into or to transition is, um, like, we talked about the wind navigation component,
Hmm.
but there's also a mechanic in the game where, depending on your actions, the weather changes, and I didn't realize that that was a correlation. Did you know about this?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I was
Yeah,
reading my
no, no.
notes.
You're so good. No,
And I
there's a
realized
mechanic
it's like
behind the scenes, and I remember being like, I was like, that makes sense, and I noticed correlations between that. But there's a mechanic behind the scenes where the game basically changes the weather depending on if you're using
yes, yes,
samurai tactics
yeah,
versus
ghost,
more,
yeah, ghost
yeah,
abilities, yeah.
ghost, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I what the attention to detail in this game is great. I think I realized in my notes what I was trying to get at earlier is like sometimes the game feels a little shallow. You can see them. It feels like they originally had the idea to like Infamous style where you had the two paths. You could choose the
Yes.
samurai path or you could choose the ghost
Hmm.
path. But the whole time in the story, you can choose to play as a samurai and be as honorable as you want, but it doesn't change anything in the story. And
No.
I think the original plan was to have those two things, and then I think when they at a certain point they really liked the ghost side of the story, so they either wanted.
Hmm.
I think it was both probably a time thing. They realized like, oh wow, we're gonna I mean, kind of in the Infamous games, you got to make a bunch of different paths and stuff for it.
Yeah.
And they're not crazy complicated paths, but still, it's added time. So,
Hmm.
I think it was a decision, and you kind of see it at the end of the game where you can choose between
Yeah.
two options at the ending. I mean, it's a 5-year old game,
Without
but
spoiling,
without
yeah.
spoiling it, there is um a decision to be made, which is definitely, and it's the red and blue callback to their infamous
Hmm.
um
But it's only one
games.
choice, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
only
like
one
the
choice. That's
series
the
of
only
actions that
yeah.
lead to your
Yeah.
conclusion. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah.
So and while I did enjoy that, I was kind of like, oh man, could you imagine if this game actually lets you make those decisions
Hmm.
and stuff, and
How'd you feel
where
about the narrative in general?
I really liked it. The more I play it, the more I like it, which that tends to happen with a lot of things. Like I saw Superman the first time, I was just like, okay, that was decent. And the second time, it's like, okay, I get it a little bit more. I liked that a lot better on the second watch. And I think the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. Like the
Hmm.
first playthrough, I really enjoyed it. I think there were times where I was like, okay, like it wasn't perfect or anything, and it's still not perfect, but the second time I really like noticed everything that I missed on the first playthrough.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed it, and especially adding the Iki Island DLC that made it so much better for me.
I agree. I was surprised, and I'm glad I didn't skip out on the DLC. But overall, I think like the dichotomy or the sort of division internally that Jin faces between his samurai,
Mhm.
honor that he's been, sort of raised in, and it's all he's known. And he's faced with this unique situation with the Mongol invasion where he has to, sort of resort to methods that are, conflict directly with that ideology. I think is just like a fundamentally interesting dynamic.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed the narrative. I think the characters were great. I liked his, his uncle, um, Lord Shimura, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like the whole relationship with him was very interesting,
Mhm.
and how there was a bit of conflict. I think some of the other supporting characters were sort of here and there. They all had like their own
Mhm.
like revenge stories, which got a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
too samey.
Repetitive,
Like I wish
yeah.
everyone had different motivations, I
Mhm.
suppose. Understanding like the Mongol invasion
Yeah, it's pretty much like,
rightfully led to
"Oh,
a lot of people seeking revenge, but it just was
yeah.
yeah, it would have been nice to see a
These
little bit more
people killed my
diversity amongst the
family." It's like,
group.
"Oh, get in line."
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But yeah, no, like, I mean, like, there were the
Yeah,
ones that, like, stood out, like, Masako's stands out to me. That one was, I feel like, really
yeah.
well done.
Hmm.
The, um,
Uh,
Ishikawa?
yeah,
Yeah, the
Sensei Ishikawa, yeah.
Ishikawa, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
His was, like, kinda different because we're about, like, chasing down his
His
student,
former student, yeah.
and so there was some difference there. Um, and,
But yeah, they were all like angry and were like
yeah,
they
except
were
for,
like, I want to
Kenji.
kill this
Kenji
person type deal.
was but there was, like, so
I
little of
liked Kenji
Kenji.
actually.
I
Thanks
did
for reminding me of him. I
Yeah,
liked him.
Kenji's were, like, although they weren't really connected, they were just kind of their own individual things, and
Well,
you get
he's
3
like
of them.
the comic relief or whatever,
Yeah,
little
he's the comic
zany
relief, and it's just like, I
Saki
wanna steal
salesman.
stuff,
Yeah.
kinda guy, and, like, eh,
Hmm.
and kinda rips you into it. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
like, Norio, I don't like, I think his was my least favorite. Um,
Yeah.
and it's long, and I don't know. I was like, he's just kind of like, he's just there. Like, he's fine, but he didn't really
Hmm.
draw much of my interest. But
Hmm.
I think where like Masako's comes to a head is probably the most memorable. Yuna's are fine. I can't remember if Taka has any. I don't think Taka has any tails. Um
Yeah, I don't think he does either. Um, which I guess the thing that I found like a running trend amongst this game, actually two of my biggest gripes I think with the game are very similar to two other major open world franchises. So like
mhm,
one, um like almost every quest line in this game, like we're talking about these supporting characters and stuff,
mhm.
where I feel like there's always like, like whether it's Ishikawa, right? He's like, "Oh, I know that my student, I know that she's at this camp. We're gonna find her, and like we're gonna take her out." Like it's almost like every time you meet up with them, it's like this is the final mission in
Mhm.
this, like, and I feel like that's like very similar to Red Dead Redemption 2, where like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be the last time we do this. And it's like I felt like this game had a lot of false endings to not just like the main
Mhm.
story, but
Yeah,
also
yeah.
the yeah. Because if
Yeah.
you look at the map, I guess you'd like realize, oh shit, like this big huge battle, that ain't the
Yeah.
end. But
Yeah,
then
100%,
um
yeah.
yeah, so there's a little bit of that.
Yeah, I don't at least in the main story, I didn't mind the false endings. I don't know if it's because, like, I was like, "Oh, I don't want this to end yet,"
Yeah.
um, and stuff, but yeah, it's definitely that in the tales. And when they're longer tales and there's like 9 of them, it's just kinda like, "Okay, how often are we gonna do the exact same thing over?" And it's like, "Let's go here,
Yeah.
let's have some conversation, let's fight some Mongols," and be like, "Oh, this character was here, but they're not," which is why, like, Masako's feel, even though you're doing all of that same stuff,
Hmm.
it feels like it has progress happening,
Yeah.
because you
Well, she's more
are.
collecting information about
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
location of the
exactly, and,
person
like,
that did this
it
thing, yeah.
is the same thing over and over and over again. You're just finding groups of Mongols here and there, sometimes,
Right.
Japanese people as well, but, like, you're, like, gathering information from this one person, then you're, killing this one target, kinda thing that then brings you to, like, it opens up the web of, like, the conspiracy,
Hmm.
within hers. So that one, like, hers probably felt the best, and like, yeah, just constantly be like we're gonna go find Tomoe, the student, Ishikawa
Yes, thank
student.
you. That's her name. I couldn't remember.
And it's like, okay, cool. And it's like, oh, Tomoe was here, but now they're not. And like it eventually you get to Tomoe, but I think it would have been more interesting if like we saw Tomoe earlier, um, and like kind of had that dichotomy showing, because like the game, it really hints at like there's more to the relationship between Ishikawa and Tomoe and that story than meets the eye at the
Yeah,
beginning,
I
but
feel like
like
they
it takes a
never.
while to get there, and it kind
Yeah,
of explains it. And I don't know, it like I still liked it, and I still like Ishikawa. I like the characters overall, but yeah, the arcs were a little messy at times.
yeah. I mean, we could talk about this for a while, but like
Yeah.
Ishikawa in particular, like his relationship with Tomoe, I feel like they were alluding to him doing something particularly bad to her to like drive her away, or like a pattern of abusive behavior type deal. And they never quite lean into it all the way. Like, sure, he's like a cold, stoic father figure and maybe like isn't very understanding, but like they don't. I felt like they were going to go all out, like where you find out that like, he's a pretty flawed person,
Mhm.
but they didn't really do that, right? It was just like a
Yeah.
misunderstanding. And Tomoe also kind of like comes, I mean, I guess if we're gonna get into spoilers, but when she does show up, Jin is pretty quick to just be like, I mean, I know he like says I can't hang out with you for right now, but he's more like forgiving, it feels, or like
Yeah.
to a point where I'm like, why? Like
Yeah,
you're like
like
so quick to be like, this is chill.
yeah, this person literally went to the Mongol side and trained them to kill
Yeah.
so many people.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree. I was like, this feels like they just kind of ran out of time with this story. I was like, oh, it's getting too long. I
Hmm.
was like, I feel like we could have then just made it a little bit
Yeah.
shorter, but it's okay. Definitely
Yeah.
feels like sometimes it's like padding content for time, but
Well, speaking of padding, that's the other thing. The other similarity to Red Dead is like, and
mhm,
I think I talked to you a little bit about this, is just how, especially in the tales, right? There's
mhm,
so much of the time is padded out with like you show up to a spot where the tale starts, and then you ride on horseback to some other place where the
mhm.
actual mission, like objective
Mission is,
is.
yeah.
And it's so like, and I understand you need to create some space for like those dialogue, those moments, but it
Mhm.
does feel like, damn, I'm just doing a lot of horseback riding here and like
Yeah.
in the mission. Yeah.
Mhm. And that's where I wonder if Yotei's gonna do things a
Hmm.
bit differently. I guess we can maybe start
Yeah, do you want to
transitioning into
pivot to
that.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can. I do want to quick, and then I guess we can kind of do it all together. But I do want to say, like, cause like a lot of people compare like Ghost of Tsushima and Assassin's Creed, and now that we finally have an Assassin's Creed in Japan, I don't. Did you play Shadows at all?
I did not play Shadows, but I have that was the one bullet that we didn't get to, was just
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
similarities.
Mhm,
Um
and, like, Ghost of Tsushima, I
yeah.
remember saying, it was like, "Wow, this is the best Assassin's Creed game that's come out in a while."
Hmm.
That's not an Assassin's Creed game, I still kind of feel like with Shadows coming out now, like, the RPG formula is very much there, and that's where Assassin's Creed is at right now, and it's fine. I'm actually one of the people that liked Odyssey. I liked Origins too. Valhalla was fine, just way too long. And yeah, Valhalla wasn't my favorite, but
Hmm.
Shadows, it's just like it just didn't hit as hard for me. One, the English voice acting is terrible. It was so bad, and it made the story so much worse. But when you switch over to Japanese, it gets better. The writing doesn't feel as bad, so that does
Huh.
help. But like, oh
Okay.
my gosh, the English voice acting is atrociously bad, and it's just like, what happened here? But
Hmm.
like the world just isn't as explorable to me. Like they for some reason made the woods like super dense, so you can't really run through them or anything. And I'm just
Oh.
like, I'm a shinobi. I should be jumping across treetops like I'm Naruto. And like I was like, you had this
Yeah.
mechanic all the way back in Assassin's Creed 3. So like, what are we doing? Oh, we have 10 minutes left
My
in this
free meeting
meeting.
will end in
Your
10
free meeting will
minutes.
end, and sorry, we'll start a new one back up and carry on. So we
Okay.
will, hopefully this is the only time we have to deal with this,
Yeah.
since Discord decided to not work for us. But yeah, I mean, I guess it might be better to like do a full comparison of Shadows to like Yotei, since they're a little bit closer together. I mean,
Well, even before Shadows came out, right, there were already some
Hmm.
basic similarities. Like even like the
Yeah, like the
assassination ghost
stealth stuff.
mechanics are
Yeah,
very similar. Um, and then obviously some of the platforming as well, or the ability to
yeah,
climb
yeah.
and sort of jump down on
Hmm.
enemies. But
Yeah.
I
So.
think overall though, like even the open world structure though, that I think back to what we were talking
Hmm.
about way earlier was just about the open world side objectives and how
Hmm.
repetitive they are. That feels ripped straight from Valhalla, right? Like, I mean, there's like
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things in
it
there that are
does.
just like you're gonna go do one of these again,
Hmm.
whether it's one of those,
And like I feel like a
yeah,
good example of like that did the opposite, and it's a very different game, so like very different ways that they can do it was like in Spider-Man when you're traveling to places, you're traveling generally to the objective, but like people are calling you and you're having those conversations on your way there, and obviously you can't do that in Ghosts of Tsushima, but I'm wondering if with the in Ghost of Yotei with the campsite feature, if it's gonna kind of be like you maybe start those side missions there, like you can, I don't know, maybe try to contact the person that you're wanting their mission to
hmm
start, and then they come join you at your campsite or whatever, and
hmm
then from there you go, and that's where all the dialogue and stuff can happen on your way to the mission. I don't know, that might make it
yeah.
a little bit better. um like
Yeah, I mean, do you want to pivot to Yote? Because I think there's
yeah.
actually a mechanic in there that
Hmm.
sort of addresses some of that.
Yeah, yeah, I think we should.
But I mean, overall, to summarize or sum up like how we feel about
Hmm.
Tsushima, at least how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, really awesome open world environment, right,
Hmm.
to explore. Really strong narrative themes with the
Hmm.
samurai dichotomy with the ghost, sort of like stealth mechanics and stuff. I think the combat's great as well. Obviously, it falls into some of the pitfalls of like standard open world games, like as most do. But the hope is right is that Yote is going to address some of those. So like one of the ones I know, the things that they've been highlighting is how side characters can appear at your campsite. I don't know. Have you seen this mechanic
Hmm.
where
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
that's
like
exactly what I was talking
yeah,
about.
okay, that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're alluding to. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like I think that's really interesting. It really it's funny. You can tell they're pulling stuff from Rockstar. I almost said Rocksteady. Rockstar
Yeah.
and Red Dead Redemption
Because in Red
2.
yeah, Red Dead 2, right? Like people will just
Mhm.
show up at camp and give you objectives or things, I think,
Yeah, I
right?
think in like the
Yeah. It's been
camp,
a while since I
yeah,
played it.
it's a little because like you have your like main camp where your whole gang is at, and that's your like home base kind of thing. And I think that moves throughout the game. I never finished Red Dead 2.
What?
I know it's crazy. And that's one of the games I was like, I'm
What, you got
gonna.
faked out too many times? You couldn't finish the game?
No, it's just
You're
there.
like,
It's
it's
the
almost
world.
over.
It's one of those things where this world is so big, and there's so many things that I can do, and
Hmm
it's just I think it was just scale and stuff, and then I don't know, life got in the way, and then too much time had passed, and like well the game is like incredibly cool and very immersive and has a lot of features. It's just like I felt like almost there was too much I had to like maintain. Like I felt like I was like, oh
hmm
well, like our camp doesn't have this stuff, so I gotta go get that. And then I was like, and then I've spent like 3 hours hunting things and like fishing and like
Yeah.
gathering money, and then I come back, and it's like, well, there's this mission. I'm just like, well, I don't want to do the mission now. Like I'm tired.
Yeah,
And
so I agree with that. Like, Red Dead 1, I did absolutely everything in that game because
mhm,
it was
same,
more, it felt
same.
more attainable.
Yeah, it
But
was
then playing Red
a
Dead
little
2
more
was like pretty
linear.
overwhelming. It didn't feel
Mhm.
like I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like
Um,
it was just way too big, and, I do still really wanna go play it. I mean, I guess I kinda had the same issue with Witcher 3, but I also just wasn't a huge
mhm,
fan of the combat in Witcher 3, but I
mhm.
will go back and play through it at some point. Um
So with Yote
mhm.
though, how are you thinking this? Like, it looks like, are you excited?
I'm
Do you have
very
are you
excited.
nervous at all for anything?
I guess real quick, going back to my thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima 5 years later as
Yeah.
you just played it, for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm replaying it for like the third time. But even my like second playthrough like a year or two ago, like I love this game to death. It's one of my favorites of all time. And while I do think there's obviously room for improvement, it's a first game in a series. I think it just set a really, really good blueprint that makes me so excited for Ghost of Yotei. I am gonna miss Jin. I did really like Jin, and I was like, oh, there's some like I do think there are things they could have done with Jin's story moving forward, but at the same time, it did have a good ending. It's not like they left us on a cliffhanger
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, like his uncle is hunting him, so I kind of thought that's where the next one would take off, and maybe we'd go to mainland and he have to deal with like other shoguns or something like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm also very excited for Atsu. She sounds cool. And Insomniac even admitted it's like, yeah, we like our origin stories. This is just what we do. It's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of their thing. That's what they did with Infamous as well. So,
Did you say
um,
Insomniac?
did I say Insomniac? Ah, gosh, Sucker
He's
Punch.
Sucker Punch. Yeah. It's okay.
All these
They both make
PlayStation
open
studios
world
just kind of like
PlayStation
start
games, yeah.
melding together.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, no. Sucker Punch really likes their origin stories, and so very apparent here. But I think Atsu's really cool idea, and I'm very excited to explore Ezo slash modern day Hokkaido. Um, well, we're not exploring modern day, but in modern day, it's Hokkaido.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
okay.
and from the trailers and the recent state of play that we got, I'm very excited because it feels like they're pushing in the direction they're really kind of like getting their footing on like, hey, this is they're pushing further away, I think, from the Assassin's Creed stuff a little bit, not like
Hmm.
entirely necessarily. It's still an open world game with some RPG mechanics and stuff like that, and like gonna have stealth and everything, but it feels like they're kind of getting their own identity with it, which I think is great. I mean, still got that the same style as Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, if you listen
Yep.
to the Ghost of Yotei song and the theme and the theme for Ghost of Tsushima, they're very similar. And I love
So
it. They're both
I
great.
was curious about that. I guess there is a different
Hmm.
music team working
Yeah.
on Yotei.
Yeah.
I wonder because I feel like the first game had such a well
Hmm.
regarded, you know, soundtrack that fit it
Hmm.
very well. So I'm curious to see how that changes or how that
Yeah.
evolves. Yeah.
Well, they're definitely using that what's that instrument called? She's carrying it in the
It's the
game.
thing with the strings,
Yeah, it's
that guitar thing.
yeah, but it's not a guitar.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Where
but
you play it with like a snow, it's
like
like
a
a snow
big
scraper.
yeah, that really big pick. But it's its own so I think that the new composer, we could say, just did a really good job at
Hmm.
capturing the same vibe and like the same musical theming as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
It feels like a sequel to it.
No,
So
it does sound really good from what I've heard as well. I agree.
yeah, I really enjoy. I've listened to it like all the time. Like I'll listen to it like on my way to like work out to kind of like pump myself. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go avenge my family
Hmm.
against the Yotei 6. Um so,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the idea of having like a wolf companion seems cool. I don't know if it's like the wolf companion like all the time. It's not like we're having a little like wolf Atreus um following us around. I think it's kind of more of a thing that like call upon to help you, because I saw um in the gameplay showcase for it that instead of the like normal ghost ability, the
Hmm.
ghost stance, it's like a wolf call. So I assume you get to call the wolf to come help you fight for a few.
I thought it said that the wolf appears whenever it feels like, but that could be
Oh,
wrong
interesting. I
and
mean, it could be
misinformation. I
both. It
don't
could
know.
be maybe eventually
Yeah.
get the ability to call it, but otherwise it'll be like it's like I'll just kind of show up whenever like I feel like it, and maybe
I
there's
also have good news regarding the soundtrack. It's being done by the gentleman that co-orchestrated the Knack soundtrack, if you know the game
I
Knack.
know the game Knack, but I don't know the soundtrack very well.
Yeah, I don't I played that game when the PS4 first came out because there wasn't much else to play, and I do not
Mhm.
remember the soundtrack at all.
Mhm.
But so what I was saying before,
Mhm.
I think like Yotei looks promising. It looks like they're trying to iterate on some of the open world
Mhm.
activities, like try to make them more dynamic, more diverse, so you're
Mhm.
not feeling like it's like all samey and
Yeah.
falling into those pitfalls of open world games. But
Mhm.
I am nervous to leave Jin behind. I think like his character arc in particular enabled a lot of the unique tone and conflict of
Mhm.
Ghost of Tsushima, right? Because he's at odds
Hmm.
with his sort of like samurai honor and what he stands for, trying to survive, right? And like doing all these sort of brutal and survivalist tactics. This new character, can you remind me what her name is again?
Atsu.
Atsu, that's right. So she's more of like a traditional, I think like a mercenary or like a, sword for hire type
Hmm.
character.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering what like I'm totally excited and like interested to hear what they cook up, right? Because like I
So
mean,
the Yotei 6 killed her family.
okay.
And
So
now
it's a
she is
revenge
hunting
story.
them. She's hunting them down. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's funny. It's actually kind of similar to Assassin's Creed Shadows a little bit. Like your dad is killed by this group of they're called the Onryo, which is funny because in Ghost of Yotei you're called the Onryo, which is basically a vengeful spirit. Um, and you're hunting them down, and I think this one's a little more linear because one of the issues I had with Assassin's Creed Shadows is that the story is so um convoluted because you can go to any of them at any time. I mean, there's some
So
level
you can
things
do it
that
in
are
any order.
yeah, there are some level
Yeah.
things that get in the way of stuff. But like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Ghost of Yotei is even more open between them. But I think
Yeah, I
there's
can't remember if they've said whether
yeah,
you can do it in any order.
I thought they said that there's an order to it, which I would prefer, because then they can just focus on the story and everything else can be more open
I
ended.
agree. I feel like any game that has
Uh-huh.
attempted to allow you to go in any order, I feel like has failed to
Hmm.
drive like a strong narrative, or at least one that's
Hmm.
lasting. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the open world stuff. It looks like they're trying to do a lot of things that, like, one, keeping you out of menus as much as possible,
Yeah.
which is good. I don't mind being in a menu. Like, I would still use the map quite a bit in Ghost of
Hmm.
Tsushima. Um, like menus are fine. I'm used to menus. Like, but it's nice knowing that like I don't always have to be in a menu.
Yeah.
And like getting objectives and like they're trying to keep you in the world as much as possible, borrowing the spyglass from Breath of the Wild, and utilizing that.
Yeah.
To get objectives, I think is cool. I feel like they're borrowing a lot of the right things from different franchises. Um,
Yeah. There's gonna
and
be some sort of card game.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which that also makes me so like on top of the, making the activities more dynamic or
Well,
interesting. I'm
they're
hoping that means that the towns are a little bit more full too. Like I'm
yeah.
imagining you can play with people in
Yeah.
like a
Was it
bar or
cars
something,
or
but
was it I thought they were like using like coins or something.
maybe it is a
Um
coin. It's some sort of
cuz
game, some
cuz
sort of
they
tabletop game, right?
yeah, yeah, there's a
Mhm.
tabletop game in it. So that's cool. It definitely looks like they're trying to like flesh out the world more, which was
Yeah.
definitely a criticism of Ghost of Tsushima. And so I think they're listening to a lot of it and I love the idea of because I was like, oh, what are they gonna do instead? Because when before we even knew that they were using it, they were bringing in a new character, a new protagonist. I was like, oh, what are they gonna do to like upgrade Jin? Like, are we just gonna have more stances?
Yeah.
And like I was like, I like the idea that instead of stances, it's different weapons.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that is cool.
so I do really enjoy that. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Like the dual swords or the really long katana.
Hmm.
The is it the Kuragawa? The chain and like kind of scythe at the end of it.
Yeah,
Um,
different things to kill bad dudes with,
yes,
basically.
yes.
Yeah.
So I did think that was cool, and
Yeah.
I was like, kind of would have been cool to see Jin use those, but it's fine. And they're not
Well,
to
she's
say
not a
that,
samurai, right? I guess
yeah,
that's the advantage that she has.
yeah,
She's a
is that,
different character. There's
mm-hmm.
going to be some uniqueness to her
Yeah.
abilities in addition
Yeah,
to her
100%.
character arc. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I like I said, I'm totally fine with Atsu. I think Atsu's
Hmm.
gonna be cool, and I'm sure I'm gonna grow to love Atsu. Doesn't mean they couldn't totally go back and tell more of Jin's story later.
They could.
Um,
Yeah.
and I hope they have like I don't know. It'd be cool if like it was like brought up at someone like it's like oh it's like that the legends of that ghost on Tsushima Island. I don't know.
I'm sure there will be
Yeah,
some
there'll be
Easter egg,
something.
probably nothing too.
Um, what do you think about the like the time slip mechanic that they have going on?
So tell me
Um,
about that. That's not even something I'm
so
familiar with.
in the gameplay, they talked about how you could I think it's only in certain areas. It'd be that like wherever Atsu has been when she was a child, at the push of a button, you can go
Oh
back in
yes, I
time
saw
to
this.
where she was like with her family and stuff like that when she
Yep.
was younger. And so I think that's really interesting because like I'm like I both like it and don't like it because like I'm like, well, I don't want to miss stuff from that time period. Like how long are gonna our scenes in that world and different locations going to be, and like
Mm-hmm.
how many are there, and I don't entirely know how it's gonna work, and like the fact that it's just they said at the push of the button, which I feel like was kind of more of like a look how fast the PS5 can render a new scene
I think you're right. It is some
kind of
sort
thing.
of
But
push.
like
SSDs. Yeah.
SSDs, very Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah,
Um,
which was it's a bunch of hobble blue. I mean, that stuff.
like and it's fine, but it's just like how is this going to work narratively? Because like now I'm just like I feel like I've been given too much power here, and
I guess I
I
assumed
want
that it would be only in like specific areas, but you're right.
yeah,
They
but
did sort of the way they were describing it was almost like you could do it whenever, but
yeah,
I kind
whenever
of doubt it.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not like you can be like in a like as long as it's a place where like Atsu was when she was a child. It may just be at like where their old home was. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it'd be
Yeah, I think
like
that was the example they gave, right?
I would much rather it be a thing like and who knows, maybe this is exactly how it works, where it does happen at the push of a button, but it prompts you areas where you can visit those memories. That's what I would prefer, rather than
Hmm.
just being like willy-nilly. I could just randomly be someone's like, I'm time to be child Atsu now, and it's just like I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like it could mess up the narrative for me.
I'm still
Um
skeptical in general, though, just that this revenge plot, like we literally had side stories in the last game that
mhm.
were like this, right? Someone trying to avenge their family type deal. Like,
Mhm.
what makes this a unique revenge story, and what's going to
Mhm.
make us, really connect with the character?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
like I said, the conflict that Jin had was very topical to
Mhm.
the time and
Mhm.
like that era, and it was
Mhm.
also a unique story of survival.
Mhm.
And I don't, and someone who was at odds with their situation was at odds
Mhm.
with who they are as how they identify or who they are. So
Yeah.
I'm curious how this will play out and how they'll make this as
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, I do know from the I watched the trailers and the gameplay stuff yesterday. I watched all of the stuff we were going to talk about, just to make sure I was fresh on everything. But so basically, like she's living it up, happy with her family, and then for some reason the Yotei Six show up and kill her entire family, but she survives.
Hmm.
Um, and then she leaves Ezo for like can't remember how much time they said, like 16 years. She left for a while, but I think the story like begins like where we start playing and stuff like that is probably when she comes back to Ezo. So I think
Hmm.
she went away, did her whole training montage.
Yeah.
um who knows, maybe some characters from that part of her life from when she was down south will come in, which could be interesting. And now she's back and she's here to like track down the Ote 6 to avenge her family.
Hmm.
So
Do you think that they'll explore what the Yotei Six's motivations
oh
were, like why
they
they came
have
for her
to,
family?
they
Yeah.
have to. I assume it's he had plans for the Death Star. And
Yeah, whatever the feudal Japan
Ben
equivalent
Mendelsohn's
is.
just gonna show up, and Mads Mikkelsen's gonna pretend to be Japanese or something. I don't know.
Hmm. Um,
But yeah, they have to explore that stuff. So I think it'll be really interesting, and like something that has definitely been a huge debate for like revenge stories. It's just like should the character actually choose revenge in the
yeah,
end
like
or
is
not?
it is it going to
Um
bring them peace or is it the
yeah.
right decision?
Mhm.
Um, so we've been talking a little bit about like how they're iterating on the template that Ghost of Tsushima sort of
Mhm.
set out. And obviously that's the same with like any sequel, right? Like you try to
Mhm.
improve upon the things that maybe fell short the last time. But it has been a trend with like PlayStation sequels recently to sort of just provide more of a good thing. And not to
Yeah.
say that that's like, bad, but I'm thinking of
Mhm.
like God of War Ragnarok,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Where it was
agreed.
pretty much like the exact same template
Mhm.
and down to like a lot of the mechanics and like the
Hmm.
fighting felt very similar.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm hopeful this is a little bit more of a jump or a leap
It
than that.
looks like it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I
From
think.
the from the combat, I agree. I
Hmm.
guess from like a technical perspective, and Ghost of Tsushima is still a good looking game, especially the
Hmm.
director's
Yeah.
cut on PlayStation, but or PS5. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious to see if this really will be like a big leap or if it'll just be more of a good thing.
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit more in between because yeah, God of War Ragnarok. While I did enjoy it, I think the story, they really wanted to do that duology. I was like, I think this needed a little bit more, for the story to really like flesh itself out, but it's
Yeah.
fine. I think that I think it's gonna be both more of a good thing, and I think it's going to feel like they have really added more to it. From the gameplay stuff that they showed, it really looks like they were focusing on like, okay, you guys know Ghost of Tsushima. Here's all the extra things we're adding on, and like so it we'll just have to see how much more depth it adds. Like I mean, having that tabletop game, I feel like it's really promising. Like how much more lived in are these places gonna feel?
Yeah.
How much more people can we actually talk to? Sort of thing. And so I do think that we're gonna see a bit of a leap, that I feel like in some older games you would get like, the transition from like Jack and Daxter to Jack 2
Hmm.
felt pretty different. Like I mean Jack and Daxter felt like your good old like third person platformer. And then Jack 2 was like, we're gonna give you Grand Theft Auto, but it's gonna be rated T. Um
Yeah. That's pretty much
um
it. Yeah.
so so I do think I'm very optimistic for Ghost of Yotei, because it doesn't feel like they had to like redo everything and start from scratch again. It feels like they were able to just build on what Ghost of Tsushima had, upgrade the graphics and stuff. They looks like they have a really good team, and they have a small team. Small. They have like, I think they have like 60 to like 100 people working on
Yeah.
it, which is not
Yeah.
a
It's
lot. I mean,
not huge with like in modern game
yeah,
development.
and
No.
that's one of my biggest issues with a lot of modern game
Yeah.
development. It's just there's too much bloat. There's too many people
Yeah. Too
throwing
many cooks in the
pieces. Yeah,
kitchen.
too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many people throwing in ingredients, and then it just feels like a convoluted mess. That's where they're everyone has different play styles, but at a certain point where you're trying to accommodate every single play style, it's like I want someone who plays Assassin's Creed to be able to feel like it's a cozy game, and it's just like
Hmm.
no, they'll go play a cozy
Yeah.
game. Um,
Yeah. Well, they can't take any of our feedback because they already have gone gold.
yeah,
But
yeah.
honestly, the game is looking really
You
good.
could add patches, but
So
yeah, it looks
yeah.
it looks great. So I'm super excited for this game. This is a day one buy. I mean, I'll probably also get um it's gonna be a more expensive fall than I thought. Because I guess if we want to transition to something else, I mean, there's Borderlands 4 that comes out this Friday.
This
Um,
Friday.
and so I'll probably get that, and we'll probably play, even though haven't finished playing through the other Borderlands games. But it does give us a bit of a something to compare it to, a little bit. And then after reading, I guess technically last month's Game Informer, I'm actually kind of interested in uh, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Is that what it is? That, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Really long
Yeah,
time.
you
Yeah,
got the title
yeah.
right.
So it actually looks kind of cool to me. So,
Hmm.
and now Ghost of Yote. So it was like, shoot, I'm getting a lot of games, and
Yeah, it's a good year for games.
just bought my wife Date Everything on Nintendo Switch for her birthday. So, um,
Nice.
yeah, so she'll have fun with that. She's been watching people play it and stuff. But I guess if we want to transition over to like Borderlands 4, and talk about how that looks, and the way that they're talking about it, it feels like they're kind of seeing it as like a return to form.
Yeah.
Um Definitely taking itself a little more seriously, obviously not too seriously. It's still Borderlands, still got that kind of goofy feel, but they're hopefully going a little bit less corny with the jokes, a little less.
Yeah, I think everyone sort of agrees that Borderlands 3 jumped the shark
Mhm.
to some degree and went just like way too far in
Mhm.
terms of like cringe humor. I mean, they had the main antagonists were basically Twitch streamers, which was very bizarre, especially when you're trying to promote your game and you're sort of making your you know potential influencers look like clowns. Not that I
Yeah.
don't agree with that to some degree, but
Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't very funny. Like
Mhm.
a lot, more of the jokes didn't land than
Just
others. And
yeah.
apparently the DLC actually like fixed a lot of those
Mhm.
concerns. Like it was a huge improvement, but no one really got around to it because people bounced off
Mhm.
during the base game. But
Mhm.
I at some point I want to give Borderlands 3 another go. I've got
Mhm.
the Ultimate Edition for PS5 with all the DLC,
Mhm.
and I mean it sounds like a good package. I'll get back to it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, those are classic games. They really
Mhm.
defined this looter shooter genre, which
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of looter shooters. Like that, just that loop of just getting that next good weapon that you
Mhm.
want to equip and see what it does, and the excitement of new loot dropping on the ground and sort of scrambling for it. And I know, yeah, like you said, we played through Borderlands 1 together, which parts that have aged well, parts of it haven't. But
Mhm.
Borderlands 2, still an awesome game.
Yeah, I think Borderlands 2 has aged pretty well. We
Yeah, it
didn't
really
play through the
has.
whole thing, but
Hmm.
it just it improved upon Borderlands 1 in every way. Um, and I think 4 just kind of looks like more it looked more like Borderlands 2 to me.
Hmm.
And they're
It's
doing some
funny because
interesting. Oh, good, good.
I was just gonna say I've been going down a rabbit hole in terms of like just the. It's a good time to like reflect on the Borderlands franchise in general,
Hmm.
right? It's had some ups and downs. It had a crappy movie. It had a sort of a downgrade with Borderlands 3. I mean, the
Hmm.
gameplay in Borderlands 3 is awesome and a step up, but just it didn't make you want to stick around with the
Hmm.
vibe there.
Yeah.
But just thinking about how the game actually came from like a realistic art style initially is very interesting. I always think
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
because the
Hmm.
Borderlands aesthetic as we know it now was like a last minute 11th hour decision for the first base or the first game.
I remember
Um,
having this conversation with you in your parents' basement. And
yeah,
we were looking at the Game Informer that was like talking
it's
about
just
it and
very
stuff.
bizarre. It's like a
Um,
strange thing because there's a different timeline, potentially where this realistic, gritty Borderlands game came out, and we never
mhm.
got Jack Black as Claptrap or
To
whatever.
be clear, this is when we were in like middle school slash high school.
Yeah.
Ryan's
We don't still
still in
live
his
in. I don't still live in my parents' basement, but
um wouldn't be a
But yeah,
bad place to live, but
the like back during in that same Game Informer
hmm
article for Borderlands 1, they talked about how there were going to be no loading screens,
yeah,
which is also funny. And you could also hire
without
NPCs to come fight with you, but
uh-huh.
the whole there were all these weird things. They were really like throwing
Hmm.
everything at the wall, and obviously the scope got a lot smaller. I think, over Randy Pitchford was probably just like selling a used car type deal at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
But it's interesting because now I believe the new Borderlands does not have loading screens. I think they've
Yeah.
finally gotten to a point where it is
Hmm.
a true open world.
Hmm.
It's running in Unreal Engine 5,
Hmm.
which
We'll
by
see
all
how that
accounts apparently
goes.
it's running pretty well actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We've heard like stutter issues with
Yeah.
the engine. I'm playing Silent Hill 2 right now, which is a notoriously badly optimized Unreal Engine game, but I don't know. We'll see. I think game's looking good.
Hmm.
Gearbox I think is they're showing that they're trying to, climb their way out of a hole, right, with Borderlands
Hmm.
3. Like they know what they did there. And
Yep.
it's just really cool to see that like an immediate reaction from a
Hmm.
developer, like, we know what we did wrong, we made some missteps, like acknowledging that, and
Yeah.
then
And
just immediately turning around with like a apparently a great game. So we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. I mean, the
Not too
gameplay
long.
I saw was a siren fighting the longest boss fight I've ever seen in my life, but it was so long. I am a little worried that movement feel looks a little slow. It might not feel as slow when you're
Hmm.
doing it. It feels kind of like
Hmm.
older Halo, kind of movement. So it's not not so
That's
not
okay with
terrible, but yeah,
me.
I'm kind of okay with it. The siren abilities looked really cool.
Hmm.
I think the gun changes are really refreshing. So each gun can have parts from like the different gun makers. I think that's cool. So that more options. Sometimes it's a little
Yep.
might create some little like loot overload, but that's kind of what a looter shooter's
It
all
was a
about.
bazillion before, and now it's a gazillion.
Yeah, yeah. So
Cause
so we'll see. And I think they've had a
yeah.
lot of time to optimize like um making each gun feel maybe a little bit more unique, make them feel like a little bit more useful and a little more
Hmm.
balanced. Because like playing the first one, I don't know, like guns were different, but also it's kind of like they kind of felt the same, and they weren't. It didn't feel super consistent with like
Yeah.
legendaries be feeling legendary.
Yeah.
And it
Like,
seems
what is the
like
role that each weapon has? Like, does it
yeah,
actually do something
yeah,
different,
yeah,
meaningful?
exactly. So, and I think that's something that they've really, I mean, even I haven't really played Borderlands 3, but it seems like they started to address it more. I mean, they addressed it more in Borderlands 2 as well.
Hmm.
But like it seems like they even talked about how like they want legendaries to feel more like legendaries. And
Yeah.
they want things to feel a little bit more powerful and how and be a little bit more unique in how they play and like how they're
Hmm.
useful. So I think that it looks really cool. Um
I think it's interesting also, as a recovering Destiny player. It's just interesting seeing them take inspiration from the game that they inspired, obviously, right? So like
mhm,
Destiny ripped a ton from Borderlands 1 and 2 when it came
mhm,
out, originally in 2014. And especially with like even just like the, the guns having different, rarity colors and
mhm.
sort of the loot system to some
Yeah.
degree. But now, with this new traversal in the open world, I guess they've got these sort of hover bike type deals, which look
Mhm.
just like
The
a
ones
sparrow
in
out of
yeah.
Destiny. And honestly, like, I think it's super cool that they're taking advantage of like
Mhm.
this.
Oh.
There's definitely like a gap right now with like Destiny players are feeling let down
Mhm.
or underwhelmed by
Yeah.
everything that Bungie's been doing, and they've had all, it's just been a rough couple of years
Mhm.
for Destiny players. So I do think you're going to see a ton of people move
Mhm.
over
Oh
to
yeah,
playing
100%.
Borderlands. Yeah,
And I think that it's really interesting. Sorry, going to this thing. It's really interesting how much individual games can affect an entire industry for years.
yeah.
Like when Borderlands came out, I was thinking back on, it, I was like, is Borderlands one of the first games to have had like rarity on the weapons and stuff? And like, I don't. Well, that's not true because like World of Warcraft had it,
That
and
was
like
going to be
EverQuest
my,
and
that's
stuff.
what I always associate those
Um,
colors, right? White,
World of War,
green,
yeah.
blue, purple,
Hmm.
orange. That was always WoW, is what I
Yeah,
always thought of. But
yeah.
yeah.
So, but at least for like, I mean, it definitely started the looter shooter
On
genre.
guns, I think it was the first to
Yeah,
do
I
it
think it
on
was the
guns,
first
right?
to do it
And
on guns,
yeah,
and like,
yeah.
I mean, so many games have like taken off of. It's
Hmm.
just so cool to see how games inspire each other. But yeah, I we'll probably end up talking more about Borderlands the next time we do our podcast.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess what would you prefer to talk about? The 007 gameplay or Return of Game Informer?
Do you want to? So I think we can probably save a couple of those since
Yeah,
we've spent
yeah, we can
a lot
save
of
them for
time
next time.
already.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
I got to go eat dinner in
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
10
we're
minutes. Do you want to jump just straight to what are we playing?
yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
So yeah, well, I guess next time we'll be talking about 007 First Light, the Return of Game Informer, um, and maybe a little bit more about game performance issues. Because I was playing Lynn's Island with my friend, and my laptop was. I thought it was going to catch on fire, but so what have you been playing? I know you just finished Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima.
I've been on a roll recently, so I platinumed Ghost of Tsushima. That was my first time playing it. I did do the what Ishi Island DLC, but I did not do the Legends mode at all.
Hmm.
I kind of just knew I wanted to get that done before Yotei came out, but
Hmm.
simultaneously I was sort of playing through Grand Theft Auto 3 on the
Yeah,
PlayStation
I saw
2.
that. I saw your stories
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
Which that was unique, I guess. We're talking about open world games today, right? Like we've been talking about
Hmm.
on the Ghost of Tsushima and stuff. Like none of this stuff would exist without GTA 3 to some
Hmm.
degree,
Was
right?
this
Like
the
that was one of the
remake, that like
I
crappy port remake
I
thing,
played
or
the original on
okay?
PlayStation 2. I went all the way back, playing it on the, on my CRT TV. And it was really kind of eye-opening just how archaic the game design is. It was brutal. I don't even understand how like people back in the day, like did they test any of this stuff, like the developers? Because like you go and do a mission and you fail it, there's no checkpoints.
Uh-huh.
You're losing all your weapons, by the way, as well, and respawning at
Mhm.
the hospital and all this stuff. But the main character doesn't speak at all. The narrative is very loose. Um, and yeah, I powered through it. I gave it a review of like a 5.5 out of 10, but I don't think that's
Mhm.
necessarily fair given how far open world games have come.
I mean, I guess that's just
Um,
kind of like you're reviewing it in terms like if this game came out now.
Yeah, well, I'm
um
reviewing it as did I have fun with it, to be completely
yeah.
honest, because it was sort of a slog.
Yeah.
But
Like
because like every mission I would go back and
mhm.
save, so that way I would be able to keep my weapons. Because like I said, if you die, they're all gone. If you get arrested, they're all gone. Um, there's still those like classic GTA elements of like just like snarky cynicism and like funny writing.
Mhm.
Um, and but overall, I mean, it's a pretty just you don't really need to play it. You
Yeah.
don't need to go back. It's
It,
okay.
yeah. It's a like is it a game that like that set the tone for the genre to come? Yeah, 100%.
hmm
But yeah, like I mean like you mentioned like it's like oh did they test things and I'm just like maybe not
There's
because
no
there's
in-game map. There is no in-game map. You
oh
have a mini
wow.
map and you have good luck. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how do you get to the bridge? How do you
Well,
get to the subway?
and
Like no idea.
that is interesting though because like I feel like the days of like being able to like memorize a game's map and just kind of like knowing where you are in a world is not really a thing anymore because of the maps and stuff.
Well, what is interesting is like I think this game and also like a lot of games at the time shipped with a paper map for you to reference. So
Yeah, that
GTA 3
actually
was one of
might have
those
been yeah, that
games.
100% had to have
Yeah.
been oh
Yeah.
wow, that
Which
because
is
I mean
pretty
GTA
immersive, right?
5
Like
did
I
it.
think
Yeah,
like
that's
there
cool.
is some like charm to having to do that. And
Mhm.
I actually pivoted. So there's also like this weird nuance with like depending on the copy of the game when it was came off the manufacturing line, the soundtrack is different. So if you got a
Mhm.
later production copy of the
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
you lose some of the like iconic songs.
Mhm.
So I went and found another copy for cheap that that got me all the missing songs while I was mid through the game.
Nice. Hey, that
Just because
was
the radio stations like make that like
yeah.
that's part of the the vibe of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game. So
Well,
yeah.
there. Well, that I mean, that's the nice thing about the PS2 era is you didn't. It's like, oh well, I don't have to like re-download this game. Just pop
hmm
the disc in. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like the amount of time they took to like make those games is so much shorter than it is
Oh
now.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
made
that's
yeah, I'm pretty sure they made GTA 3 San and or sorry, GTA 3 Vice City San Andreas within like 4 years, I
yeah.
think. It's
Like
like
I mean,
super
they're all
quick.
on the same exact
Yeah.
engine, everything. Like they kind
Yeah.
of just they built one out and there's like, okay, cool. Now we can just quickly like put
Yeah.
out other ones and like
But
it's.
they were innovating too, right?
Mhm.
Like I think Vice City, I hear, is a significant jump, just in
Yeah.
terms of like, making it feel like a living
Yeah.
world.
It basically it's almost just like it's like okay, we're going to release this game but instead of patching it, we got to kind of like do a whole new story, but we're going to like this
hmm
gives us extra time of development on the things we've already built.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
I guess it's that's how DLCs kind of are now.
hmm
Um so
Yeah.
yeah, I it's really interesting. Another thing we could probably
hmm
talk forever about. Okay, San Andreas, anything else you
So the what I'm into now is I've been going back to Helldivers because of the Halo ODST collab, which has been very cool to play with. So you can play as an ODST now if you get the War Bond
mhm.
there. And then I've also been playing Silent Hill 2, so the
Nice.
remake. So I played the original in the past, the 2001 game. This is the remake from last year, and
Mhm.
overall, really great experience so far. It is spooky season, so I'm starting to get into all
Yeah.
my Halloween games.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. Like I said, there's some Unreal Engine optimization issues where like you have a lot of like distortion and reflections and things and like sort of
Mhm.
noisy
Yeah.
shadows. But I mean, it's still a really cool vibe. The music is
Mhm.
fantastic. They brought back the original composer and it's creepy and it's Silent Hill 2, which is like one of the best horror games ever. So,
Mhm.
what about you? I want to hear what you're playing.
Um not well, I mean I'm still kind of playing through Ghost of Tsushima um slowly but surely. Jumped back into Horizon Zero Dawn a few months ago, and I'm just kind of also slowly getting through that because like when I
So Zero Dawn, not Forbidden West?
yeah, Zero Dawn first, and I'll
Okay.
jump back into. I played both of them.
Okay.
I never finished Burning Shores. So I do want to go play that, but I wanted to take my time a little bit more because the first time I played the story, and then I immediately wanted to jump to Forbidden West, and then I
Hmm.
realized like I missed a bunch at the beginning of Forbidden West. There are a bunch of characters that you meet in like side content, and I just didn't do that side content. I was like, who the hell are these people?
So you just
um
like mainlined the or like beelined the main story.
Yeah, most of it. Like I
Yeah.
did some side content, just not all of it. Because I got to
Hmm.
a certain point, I was like, okay, I've been playing this game forever, and the story is getting really good. So I wanna go. So I want to try to take my time, but with that, I haven't touched it in like a month. So I don't know if I can consider that still playing. One of my other friends recently got me into playing Brotato. So
Bro Tato? I've never heard
Brotato,
of
it
this.
is a it's another like roguelike game like Vampire Survivors. So you don't like actively attack, you just have like it's like a moving tower defense is
He does
basically.
look like a bro, this potato
Yeah,
fella.
it's made in Godot, the open source
Oh yeah.
game engine, and yeah, you play through 20 waves, and you can play a bunch of different characters that have different like perks and stuff, and get a bunch of different weapons and abilities, and you can play it with friends, and it has a remote play with Steam, so only one person needs to own it for other people to play. So it's kind of fun. It's got a lot of like you have to kind of like study on it. Hi, buddy. This is Kaladin. This is my cat Kaladin right here.
Hi, kitty.
Um, so I've been playing that. And that's been fun, mostly just with other people. And then
Yeah.
me and my friend Chad have been playing Lynn's Island, another kind of indie game. A game that I've been following for a really long time. The devs have been making it for like 4 or 5 years, and he had like a bunch of YouTube videos of his like devlogs and stuff. So been following this game for a while, and so playing through that with him, and then yeah, Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's right now. That's it. But pretty soon, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be Borderlands, and I might try to really get through Ghost of Tsushima again before Yotei comes out. Got a month. But yeah,
Yeah, I feel like they got that game done early. Like they went gold
yeah.
like a week
I
ago or
usually
something.
it's
Yeah.
about a month in advance when they go gold.
Yeah. So maybe
So
just a little early, yeah.
so yeah, maybe just a little early, but yeah, I mean, Lynn's Island's a lot of fun. So it's fun seeing they recently went 1.0 like earlier this year, and they've got more updates on the horizon. It's just a nice chill game. They have co-op
Is that
now
like
with
a
it.
cozy game? One of
Yeah, it's
those?
kind of cozy.
Yeah.
It's like survival,
Lynn's
but
Island, yeah.
it's mostly kind of cozy. You can like build up on your island, and but there's kind of a story to it. The story it like the story's fine. Like it's not like super in depth or anything. It's an indie game. It's built on Unity. But that game, um, man, I didn't think my laptop would have any trouble running it, but maybe it was because of the co-op stuff. But you can tell that thing is built on some maybe some slight spaghetti code because it was
Spaghetti
running my
code.
computer so hot. And I like I had to turn on all the graphics, and like I have a like an Asus gaming laptop, so and it's a couple of years old, but like it should be able to run a game like Glenn's Island fine.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it would
But I
be
think
very
I don't
demanding,
know.
but
It doesn't look like it, but I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it's a small team, so
hmm.
being a bit forgiving there, but I still enjoy it. But yeah, no,
That's cool.
that's what I've been playing, and very excited to jump into these other games. And nice thing about Brotato and Lynn's Island is it's not really something I have to like fully complete. I can just kind of like jump
Right.
into it with my friends. Um,
Yeah. That's how I'm treating Helldivers too. It's
yeah,
just like a
yeah. I
whatever.
still
Yeah.
haven't played Helldivers. I would maybe,
It's pretty
yeah,
fun.
I've heard. I would like to at some point. I'll have to.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly when I will, but yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, we'll probably be talking about Borderlands. We might play a little bit of Borderlands together. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll be a bit busy this weekend, being my wife's birthday and all, but might be able to
Oh,
find some
well,
time
happy
to.
birthday.
I will let her
Not to
know.
you, but
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Dorothy.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. I will tell her, and she'll appreciate
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I
Well,
think
we
that
covered some good bases
yeah,
here. I feel
I
like we
think we
made
did.
some good
Look at that. Look
progress.
at that. Our first podcast, everybody.
It actually panned out.
It's our success.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom, for listening.
Yeah. Thanks to our sponsors,
Yeah,
our
thanks.
parents for
Yeah,
birthing us.
yes. Yeah, thanks to our sponsors. Yeah, if anyone wants to sponsor us, let us know. Happy
Yeah,
to shell out your stuff.
that's right. Corpo
But
slop. We deal with that.
yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys next time. We haven't decided on exact schedule for how often we'll release this or how often we're gonna do this, but we'll figure it out, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
So long.
So long.
Bye.